Hey guys, this is Jake from State Fun. Today we're going to be working on the Cummins Housecar swap, part 4. We're going to start with the brake master cylinder, pressure hose for the power steering, and look into doing the KDP fix. Alright, so I think I'm going to start by trying to take this fan off. There's a little fan nut down there, and from what I can tell on the interwebs, let me shine a light on it, there we go. There's a little fan nut down in there. From what I can tell on the interwebs, that's a left-handed thread, so I need to knock it clockwise to loosen it. Problem is the serpentine belt is so loose, in fact you can see it's actually touching right there. That's not good. But the serpentine belt is so loose, it just kind of slips around when I try and knock the nut, When I try and knock that nut loose, the whole pump just slips around on the belt. So I'm going to take this belt off, stick a block of wood in between the water pump pulley and actually that might be the water pump pulley, the fan clutch pulley and the crank, and then hopefully that'll hold it still while I try and knock that nut off. Well, the internet was right. All I needed was a hammer and a big punch. I guess we'll work on the power steering hose and the master cylinder while I got the parts. Once we get those things done, we'll take this AC compressor off. When I look at the lines here, oh, they are quite rusty, and the I think it's the evaporator inside. The lines going into the evaporator were also rusty on the inside, so chances are this actually, oh yeah, I can't even spin it. I should be able to spin that outer ring. Yeah, I can't spin it, that's locked up. Needs to be replaced. I don't think I mentioned why I was taking the fan off. One, I need to take it off so that I can get to the Killer Dowel Pin so I can replace it, or sorry, not replace it, fix it, keep it from becoming a killer. And two, I needed that off because I don't believe it's going to have room to be on there when we put it in the Housecar. I'm going to have to use an electric fan that's a lot thinner to be able to get the airflow and still fit within the confines of the Housecar's engine bay. So I got the power steering hose replaced. Kind of interesting. It has 18 millimeter heads. The old one had 18 millimeter on each end, and this one has a 16 millimeter on this side. Same thread, but different head. 16 millimeter here and an 18 millimeter there. And I know everybody's probably not happy that I didn't use a line wrench, but I don't have any metric line wrenches, and I don't have anything metric over 16 millimeter, so I had to use a monkey wrench for the 18 millimeter one. But I also ended up cutting the old one off and using a socket for the one back here because I couldn't get the monkey wrench to work. But hey, you do what you got to do. have a master cylinder replaced. Nice new shiny, non-broken piece there. We'll get it filled with brake fluid and do a gravity bleed on the front and rear brakes. And we'll get the power steering pump filled with power steering fluid. We'll start working on the AC compressor. Try and get that off and see what we're going to end up needing to do to get a replacement. Now, since I am going to be retrofitting a 62 C20 that never had AC, I may end up replacing this with like a Sandin 508 and setting it up for one of those vintage air-type air conditioning units. So I got the AC compressor out. Came out of that hole there. It's sitting right over here. So there's a little tab here that kind of holds it from pulling out. I'm not really sure why it's there, but just a little trick in case y'all happen to have the same setup going on. But I'm gonna do a little bit of research, figure out what kind of replacement condenser I want, compressor, what kind of replacement compressor I want, and what brackets might be necessary for that, especially since we're looking at doing a conversion for doing air conditioning in the 62. And in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and pull the dualies off. We'll pull one of the dualies off, I guess, on each side. Just make it a single wheel back there. And we're gonna put one of those that we pull off up here on the front, because we've actually got one that keeps going flat. So we'll get started on that. So just to give y'all a little bit more information about what the plan is on how we're gonna be doing this swap. I think previously I mentioned we were gonna replace this rear end, but just for now at least, I'm actually just gonna remove one of the rear wheels, and we'll use that as the kind of the test fit frame and wheel combination. I'd like to get the body of the Housecar on here and then work out some of the kinks of where does the transmission shifter go, does the engine fit, does all these other things line up, and get all that kind of done before I worry about swapping out the rear end or converting this to a single wheel on the front. And that'll give us a little bit better of a chance of getting it up and going for this this nice camping weather that we got going on this summer. Probably summer before I get this done, but I'd like to get it up and going so I can enjoy the camper a little bit, and then we'll work on doing the other fixes like the rear end and the front suspension, or yeah, front wheels as well. Well, we're down to one wheel on each side and the rear. Took one of those spares, stuck it up there on the front. That way we won't have a flat tire up there anymore. Tightened everything down to 2 Ugga Duggas. I think we're ready to ride. Oh wait, we're missing a lot of stuff. Still got a lot of work to do. Alright guys, let's get started on the Killer Dowel Pin fix. So what I'm going to have to do first is I'll stick a block of wood in between these two pulleys here, crack all these bolts loose, and the block of wood is just to keep this from spinning while I'm trying to loosen those. I'll go ahead and get all these pulled out, pull the pulley off, I'll make a mark here to notate which direction this the crankshaft pulley was on, dampener pulley thing. We'll crack those bolts loose and pull them off. We'll pull the oil fill tube off, and then we'll work our way around the timing cover. I've got a replacement gasket for the timing cover as well as for the crankshaft seal. So before I pull that cover off, I'm actually going to clean off the gunk around it just to make sure it doesn't fall inside. That's the plan. So let's get to it. There she is, and it has not been fixed yet. Now it does have a hump up from the little 10mm bolt in there up to where the dowel pin is that I was not actually expecting. I've seen it in some, but I didn't think it was in this older year model. I thought it was in newer year models. But I'll see if I can work around that and still get a little plate fabbed up. I'll make it out of some aluminum. I got some diamond plate from before, so I'll probably use that to fab up a little pin to hold that in place. Alright guys, so I didn't buy one of the little KDP kits, so I don't have the pre-made tab. So I'm gonna try and make one myself out of this aluminum diamond plate that we used for the roof of the Gator. I'm gonna take the flap disc and grind the tread plate diamonds off, and then probably mark out a little drawing of where I want it. Drill a hole, cut it out with a jigsaw, and then bend it so that it goes up, over, and then back down into the little hole within the where the dowel pin is. That's the plan. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so I made up this little bracket piece out of aluminum, and if you look back at the earlier part where I showed the pin, you can tell it used to be kind of flush with this surface right here, and now it's down flush with this surface that the bolt hits. So it actually had vibrated out some. Might have saved myself a future headache there. Then again, I may have created one with this whole thing. We'll see. Time will tell. Let's get it in there. Well guys, it's gotten dark. I've got the new seal installed down here. Got some ultra black RTV going around on the timing cover, and then got a Velcro gasket and put some ultra black around the engine block here, and then we'll stick the timing cover on. Well guys, I think that wraps up the KDP fix, as well as this video. So, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and y'all have a good one.